Good evening, Tsupiteros, and welcome to another edition of FB Live here in Tsupitero.com. I'm going to start off with analyzing the markets and giving you a description of where the market is in right now. So if you look at the PSCI index right now, you can see that we're still trading within that 6,000 to 6,400 range, no? But we are just clinging, above that 6,000 level. We actually broke below it last Thursday, no? By dropping to as low as 5,115, but for some reason we were able to still hold on above 6,000 up until Friday. But I think the bears are somewhat in control right now, and unless a miracle happens and the bulls are somehow able to pierce through that 6,150 line, I think we're gonna go lower from here. The level to watch out for now in the short term is that 5,915 level, which is the low last Thursday. If we break below that level, expect the market to accelerate downwards, possibly going towards the 5,500 level in the near term. Okay, so I did some statistics in the last couple of days, and I tried to figure out what the market did every time after the SONA. So from what I've compiled in the last 5 years, every time after the SONA, 1 month after, on average, the market drops by about 2.5%. And 3 months after, the market is still down on average by about 4.5%. So that's on average, no? There were years na we dropped but not as much, and there were years that we dropped a lot more. Like I think there was 1 year that we dropped about almost 10% in the next 3 months after the SONA. But generally speaking, the third quarter is always a bearish time for the markets. The period of, after the second quarter earnings, there's the ghost month. It's normally a bearish time. And then before we enter the traditionally bullish fourth quarter period of the market. So that's it, generally, I'm not too bullish on the market. We have statistics to back us up. We have, and we also have, rising cases of COVID worldwide. We have like a second round of this pandemic happening right now. So there's nothing really to look forward to. Plus, of course, you have the reports of the second quarter coming out in the next couple of weeks. So I suggest you raise some cash for. I think it's gonna be rocky in the short term. So that's it. That's my take on the market in the near term. So before I discuss further to you my other analysis of some specific stocks, I'd like to thank one of my sponsors, and this is AP Securities. If you'd like to trade with a broker that has excellent research reports, then I suggest that you try and you want to try AP Securities. Okay, so the next stock that the first stock actually that I wanna discuss with you, or rather, the first batch of stocks that I wanna discuss with you are the mining stocks. Now, recently the mining stocks have been going up strongly. The last this whole week, no, they have been the rose among the thorns in the market right now, because not only because gold has been going up, and other commodity prices have been going up, but also because of there's news that the DENR might reopen some suspended mines that might affect some listed companies, no? So if you look at the charts of these, like for example, nickel, okay, this is nickel, this is Felix, this is Lepanto. They're all trading at the highs, no? Especially the gold stocks. The gold stocks are Felix, Apex, Lepanto. Those are the gold stocks, and they're all trading above. If you check their RSI levels, they're all trading at above 70. Felix is trading at about 77 in a 14-day RSI. Apex is also quite high right now. It's trading at almost 70 RSI. So and why are they so strong? Well, of course, aside from the gold price, let's check out this website here, futures.tradingcharts.com. You can see that aside from the strength of the gold, you can see that the US dollar has been very, very weak recently, and this has been fueling the rise in commodity prices worldwide. So from a high of about 104 last March, the dollar index is now trading at almost 94. So that's like a 10% drop already in the last 4 months. So this is precisely why the commodity markets have been strong recently. But I think it's about time that I think the dollar is quite oversold right now, and commodities are quite overbought. So be careful of these commodity stocks like gold stocks and nickel stocks. I think from my perspective, although they are quite strong right now, they are very much overbought already, especially the gold stocks, no? If you look at the chart of gold here, we have it already is trading at a parabolic rise in the short term, no? And even in the weekly chart, if you look at the price of gold, it is trading in a very steep parabolic ascent, and that's not normally a good place to buy. If you were a trader, you don't really want to buy in a parabola, or we're in a scenario wherein everybody is very bullish and are just looking at one direction. So so be careful of those gold stocks. They might be if you ask me, there are probably currently a hold or a take profits on strength. That's my recommendation for these gold and nickel stocks right now. Okay, so that's it. Before I go to my next stock that I want to focus on, I'd like to thank another one of my sponsors, which is AAA Equities. If you wanna trade with a broker that has automated stop losses and automated breakout orders, then you might want to try AAA Equities. Okay, so the next stock that I want to discuss with you right now is ARIT. No, a lot of people have been asking me, Nico, okay ba yung ARIT? Do you suggest buying it? Well, ARIT just recently, last Wednesday or last Thursday, finalized their price, and it was finalized at 27 pesos per share. And so they brought it down a bit from 30 bucks. At 27 pesos per share, they the stock is actually giving a yield of 5.85%. So, this ARIT, it's more of like, it's sort of like a preferred share actually, you will make money from the rental incomes of these properties that Ayala infused into the ARIT, and hopefully, as long as they could keep their customers, the stock can, or the ARIT can potentially give you 5.85 per share. It's if you're looking for capital gains in this instrument, then I don't think this is the one that you want to buy. This is probably more for people who want to diversify their fixed income positions. Those who probably have a lot of preferred shares, or those who have a lot of maybe bonds, they might want to diversify and put some of their funds into the ARIT. So, but if you're looking for a 20, 30, 40% gain, then no, this is not the one. Okay? So, there you go. It's a way to diversify your fixed income portfolio. So if that's what you're thinking, then yeah, you can probably a little bit of money for the ARIT. Okay, but before I discuss with you my last stock that I want to focus on, I'd like to thank again my third sponsor, which is XM. If you want to trade foreign exchange and commodities abroad, then you might want to try and go for XM. Okay, the last stock that I want to discuss with you tonight is, of course, no other than ABS CBN. I bet a lot of people are very curious on ABS CBN right now. When I'm reading our FB group, I noticed that majority of the people are just bearish on ABS CBN. Of course, they weren't able to renew their franchise, so they practically lost a big chunk of their revenues and income. So and it would be natural for people to be bearish on ABS, no? This is the chart of ABS. Okay, so you'll see here there was a big after the suspension was lifted last Thursday, there was a big gap down in the stock, followed by another gap down last Friday. So I think the question that you need to ask yourself for ABS is that how much actually is its liquidation value? Okay, how much? Let's just presume that the revenues and the income will be zero. Okay, let's just presume that the revenues and the income will be zero. If that's the case, then you have to value the company now based on its assets. Okay, so how much are the assets? According to the latest financial statements of ABS CBN, the book value per share is about 43 pesos per share. But okay, let's be skeptical of that number. Of course, I think if the company is no longer in business, then I'm pretty sure that they will not be able to sell the assets at those market prices. No, then maybe some of those assets would have to be sold at a discount, or so there. No, so we have to put a discount on these assets and try to figure out if, for example, you sell all the assets of ABS and pay off all its liabilities. how much would be left? Okay, is it the current price right now is 7 pesos and 64 cents. So if you sell all the assets, pay off all the liabilities, will the share price be more or less than 7 pesos and 64 cents? Then if the liquidation value is more than 7 pesos and 64 cents, then the price of ABS right now is actually a buy. But if the liquidation value is a lot less than 764, then it's probably still a sell right now. So let's take a look. I did this very rough estimate on the balance sheet of on ABS CBN in my Excel. Okay, so this is the current balance sheet of ABS CBN. Okay, so you have the current assets, which is 31. This is 31 billion. Okay, 31.4 billion pesos. Okay. Okay, and then you have some other assets here worth 7.7 billion, and then you have some fixed assets worth about 46 billion. Okay, so the total assets of the company right now is worth 85.6 billion, while the current liabilities have 14.6 billion, other liabilities 1.8, and then some long-term, mostly loans, long-term liabilities, which is about 32 billion. So if you deduct the total assets from the total liabilities, you'll actually be left with 37.2 billion, which is this number would be equivalent to about 43 pesos per share. Okay, so again, let's take this number with a grain of salt, and let's just put some discounting on these values. So what I did was I just maintained the current assets. I maintained the other assets. I maintained property, and I maintained all of the liabilities, including the program rights. And I discarded tower equipment and some other intangible assets, like goodwill, trademarks, and some other intangibles. I removed all of those and I put it here. Okay, yung the tower nila, diba? That tall tower that they have in Mother Ignacia. Of course, if you don't have a franchise anymore, that's practically useless na, diba? So I also separated that here. Some other equipments of ABS, I also separated it here, including their goodwill. So yun nga, the only thing I left was the program rights. Okay, the property. Hopefully they can prove to Congress that that property is really theirs. Okay, the current assets of the company, which is mostly I think cash and receivables, and then I maintained the liabilities of the company. No, so I did not put a discount on the liabilities, but actually in reality, they can, if you're no longer a going concern, you can tell your creditors, hey, wala na akong pera baka I can just pay you half of what I owe you, diba? They can do that, right? But okay, I just maintained it at how much they are in their books. So it's a very conservative estimate. So more or less, if I do this, their total assets would be more or less equal to their total liabilities. Okay? So the only thing that we have to value right now are the intangibles. Okay? And the tower and the equipment. So these are the tower, the equipment. There's also this, I'm not so sure what this one is, but there's a huge ongoing construction going on there in ABS. I'm not sure what that is, but it's worth 7.8 billion. Oh, so I also removed that, okay, from the picture. And then there's the others. Oh, so the total of all of this is 36.6 billion, okay? So what I did now is I put a 33% discount from all of this. Okay? So I just presume that they can sell, if ever ABS would be, for example, be sold lock, stock, and barrel, I just put a value of about 33% for all of this. Okay? So instead of a value of 36.6 billion, I put a value of 12.2 billion. Okay? So that 12.2 billion is actually equivalent to about 14 pesos per share. Okay? So from current levels, that's almost double from where it is right now. Okay? So assuming, okay, let's just assume that, let me check sorry, I forgot the outstanding number of shares of ABS. Let me just check that out. Okay. So the outstanding number of shares is 862 million. Okay. So 862 million, 12.2 divided by this number. So that's equivalent to 14.15 pesos per share. Okay. But let's just presume that the current price of ABS right now is 764. Okay? 7.64. So if I multiply 764 with the total number of shares, I get a value of 6.6 billion. So that would mean, okay, that would mean at current levels, you only put an 18% value on all these assets here. Okay? So yun, so at 764, itong equipment, instead of, you can sell it for 16, let's say the tower and the equipment, instead of selling it for 16 billion, you'll be selling it for just 2.9 billion. Or yung goodwill nila, instead of 5 billion, you'll just be selling it for 900 million. Okay? That's what 764 means. Okay? That's what 764 means. So, from the way I see it, I think the stock from an asset perspective, valuation point of view, it is very much oversold right now, and I think it is undervalued based on its assets. Yes, the market is reacting, it's negatively reacting, but I think there is an opportunity in ABS right now. You don't, unless, of course, you don't expect to go back to 20 pesos, no, unless probably they'll able to sell the entire company or all its assets to somebody else. Like, for example, if let's say another network buys them out, no, then they'll probably be able to put a premium on their assets. But otherwise, I guess it's a good stock for somebody who's probably willing to gamble on the long term, and maybe think like in terms of speculate that maybe at some point the company will be sold or the assets will be sold, or maybe speculate that on the next administration, the next administration may probably be more favorable for the company, so there you go. That's my take on ABS. You may agree with me or not, but I think the financials would speak for themselves. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed my short FB Live again tonight, and good night, and hope to see you again next week. I